Hello and welcome to part 2 of the Huddle's Sweden Focus series. Today we'll be speaking with Erik Bergman, who was one of the co-founders of Catena Media, but has also founded Great.com. So hi Erik, thanks for joining us today.
Hello, thanks for having me, Tim.
Yes, no problem at all. It's great to have you on as part 2 of our Sweden Focus. Obviously, you're an entrepreneur who's founded Catena Media and Great.com. We're going to talk today a lot about Great.com. But to start with, I thought we could go back a bit and ask you about your earlier career and co-founding Catena Media. Can you tell us, to start off with, about your journey with Catena?
Sure. I mean, the journey about Catena happened by accident, more or less. It was me and my childhood friend Emil, and we failed at everything else we tried. And then we started building bingo affiliate sites, which also completely failed. The first years, we actually gave up on that. Started doing a bunch of other things and came back to bingo affiliation after looking into the accounts and seeing, hey, there is $1,000 in here. And that was sometime 2008, I think. And we kept building from there. It was always just a fun play around. We were building websites about bingo, but also mortgages, business cards, fashion, everything we could come up with for about 4 years until 2012, when we partnered up with Optimize for Invest and decided to go full in on casino. And that's kind of the inception of what became Catena Media, even though it started long before then. The casino focus and the Catena focus happened in 2012. And yeah, that was a chaotic journey, which almost ended already 2013 because we ran out of money, but we managed to turn it around, luckily. And yeah, the rest is history.
Yeah, it sounds like quite a journey, considering you talk about having $1,000 in the account and almost running out of money. And when it IPO'd, unless I'm mistaken, was it around 400 million that the figures were?
$200 million at the IPO.
Yeah.
But it doubled within the first few months. It went steep up.
Yeah, so I mean, it must be funny for you to think about kind of, the stories you just mentioned, and then the eventual outcome and the millions that it came to.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, it mostly feels surreal.
Mm-hmm.
It's all just blurry, hazy in a sense. I had a lot of fun. We were a lot of wonderful people. We had perfect timing. A lot of things just went magnificently well, and it happened.
Yeah, looking at the affiliate market in Sweden today, how would you characterize it, and how much has it changed over the years, having been influenced by companies like Catena Media?
So I think the Swedish affiliate market at the moment is in the worst shape it's been for a long time. It's really tricky now with regulations that haven't really been beneficial for anyone so far. It's getting even more tricky due to Corona and extra regulations on top of everything. So I believe that right now Sweden is in a really shitty place from an affiliate perspective compared to how it used to be. It used to be, well, TV marketing running 24/7 for everyone and no regulations, no anything. And back in the days when we started, even the competition was low. But that said, I believe that Sweden is a future market. That's why we focus on it with Great.com. That I believe that Sweden is a future country in the sense that it's high internet, high pay in general. People loves to gamble. It's a long history of gamblers here. So I believe that the regulations will shift towards something that is sustainable for everyone involved. Right now, the problem is that there is absolutely no benefit to being a regulated operator, well, almost no, and they don't do anything to close out the other ones. So the other ones have bonuses, the other ones do all the things that the regulated operators can't do. But my belief is that this will, over a few years, sort itself out. I believe that politics is slow. Regulators don't really know, they haven't done this before. So my belief is that Sweden as a market, if you look at it from a 10-year perspective, is going to be a wonderful market. But if you look at it from a 2-year perspective, it's in a pretty shitty shape.
encouraging to hear the long-term prognosis there, but certainly you're not the only person to say what you've said about the short-term prognosis. Is it perhaps a little bit frustrating that looking at certain other markets where affiliates have kind of developed and evolved over the years, affiliate markets are pretty strong elsewhere in the world, and Sweden is, perhaps lagging behind that at the moment due to the regulatory things you've mentioned?
I mean, sure, but Sweden had a wonderful run. I mean, you can't complain. If you've been in the Swedish casino industry over the last decade, I mean, we can take a little shitty time. It makes sense. It's been a magnificent run for anyone. More or less everyone made money if you were in Swedish gambling industry for the past 10 years. So I think that this just gives the industry a bit more an opportunity to clean itself up, to be stronger, to kind of not just be the one-man show in a basement, but actually needing to figure things out. So I believe that this is a good thing over time. And I believe that whoever wants to go for the quick buck, whoever wants to go for India or Canada or Finland or whatever, feel free. And those markets are like Sweden were a few years ago. So I don't think if you want the quick buck, there are opportunities everywhere. If you want to build a big long-term sustainable business, then I believe Sweden is going to be a great market over time, and this is just a phase.
Yeah, that's very interesting. And you mentioned obviously Great.com and the reasons why you've targeted Sweden, and that certainly matches up. You made headlines a couple of years ago when you founded Great.com, and it's safe to say it's very different. I mean, for those who don't know, you're an online casino affiliate, unless I'm mistaken, which donates 100% of revenue to climate change initiatives. If I'm mistaken, correct me, but also what inspired you to pursue this?
Out of profits, not 100% revenue.
Oh,
that's going to be a tricky thing over time, but profits.
Key distinction.
Yeah, well, what inspired me, firstly, I wanted to build one big casino affiliate site. I wanted to build one big website because what we struggled with Catena, and what I believe most affiliates struggles with, is they build a lot of websites, which means that it's really hard to build one big website. But we have Ask Gamblers, there are a few others, but even Ask Gamblers then is being run by Catena, who runs 50 other websites or whatever it is by now. And so it came back to me wanting to build one really big website. And then it came back to me, I wasn't really inspired by making money anymore. I had more money than I needed. I don't really care about materialistic things. I don't care about the car I'm driving. I don't want a big boat. So for me, giving the money away gave me a big inspiration of, okay, I can actually make a change by doing this. So if I can build a big casino website, which is one passion of mine, and I can help a lot of people, which is another passion of mine, that just makes sense. So it comes from both wanting to really add value to people in the world, as well as I really enjoy building casino affiliate websites. I love the SEO, I love the chasing of links and all the things around it and figuring things out. So for me, it was a perfect match between two different worlds.
Yeah, and this journey led you to recently, you published your latest annual report, and that's what prompted us to reach out in the first place. I wanted to ask you about your latest progress, but I'm gonna read out a quote from your report. You said you do feel some shame in writing that you've invested $1.72 million to earn $500, as you were expecting revenue to be closer to 500,000 by now. But you said, however, you're on a 50-year journey, and with that timeline in mind, you're just getting started. Yeah, like I say, can you sort of talk us through the latest figures and the progress that you discussed in that report? Yeah,
sure. So I've invested significant amount of money into this, and my belief was that it was. So we'll back up a little bit. So I want to reinvent what SEO is. So long before we even started Catena, we were really good at scaling link building, buying websites, trading links over, and doing all these different ways of tricking Google. And every day was kind of a scare that Google would take you down. And one part of building a website that wants to be around for 50 years is trying to figure out ways of doing that as pure and white hat as possible. So for me, building Great has been one way that I want to do it with PR and like getting people to interview me and talk about it and get links that way in a way that you can't do with a regular affiliate project. One way would be to collaborate with all kinds of organizations and companies and getting links this way, and kind of reinventing how do you get links. And this has proven to be a lot harder than I thought it would be. I thought we would get a lot more attention than we have. I thought we would be able to get those links a lot easier. So that has led to the progress being a lot slower than I first anticipated. With that in mind, I'm now super happy with the team that we've managed to put in place. I'm now super happy with the processes that we have now that I wish that we had a year ago or even 2 years ago. But how people are collaborating, how I feel that all of these people, we're now 9 people, are people that I want to work with for decades. And I'm sad to say, but it was definitely not like that with the first 9 people in Catena that were hired by 24-year-old me who didn't know what I was doing. So I'm very proud of the people that are in there now, the processes that are coming together, and how it grows and develops without me being involved in every little thing. While in Catena, I was micromanaging the shit out of everything in the beginning. I was in every little decision, doing everything, working way more than I could handle. So in some regards, Great is far, far behind where it could be financially, and where Catena were financially this far into the journey. But from an organizational and a company culture and a process perspective, we are far ahead of where I thought that we were. So this is what I mean when I say that I'm both ashamed of where we are, because I definitely was expecting us to be at 500K a year now, and we're at 500 euros, which is just a pathetically low number. But at the same time, I'm very proud of the team and how things are progressing from here, and I have very high hopes of what we will develop into over the next couple of years.
Yeah, we definitely appreciate your honesty when it comes to the strengths and the weaknesses there. Something else you've said in the report, obviously you've talked about kind of your passion for SEO and affiliates and links. Obviously the charity angle is a massive one and quite a unique differentiator. You mentioned in your report gambling being controversial from a philanthropic perspective, and I think we all can understand what you mean. And you want to change the fact that the casino industry is not known for its charity. My simple question on this is how?
I mean, I believe in leading by example. And I believe that if we put ourselves out there and say, hey, we're giving away money, we're doing these things, what are you doing? I mean, I did a Facebook post in November or something like that when I tagged a lot of wealthy people from the casino industry, and I said, anything that you donate to climate change, I will double it. And please do this because I can't motivate myself to do it myself. And a lot of people stepped up, and just from the gambling industry in itself, I was about 400,000 euros that was donated from people in my sphere or people I haven't even met that are in the gambling industry that probably wouldn't have happened if I wouldn't have initiated that. And just the fact that people start doing it, start talking to each other about it, and that this becomes, if this can become the norm, then I believe that the gambling industry can do wonderful things. And if I can be a part of people thinking about charity, and I can see like, hey, what are you doing, or what is this person doing, and this becomes something that people talk about instead of talking about who bought the biggest champagne in Patchaville or who had the fanciest event at London Affiliate Conference, but instead saying, okay, who contributed the most to the world, then I believe that we're going to be in a magnificent place.
So it sounds like you think there is an ambition to do this, that there is this feeling that it can be done within the industry, but you think it needs to be led by someone.
I would say that it's already proven that it can be done, that the fact that one Facebook post got 400,000 euros in donations from people that, as far as I know, have not been involved with charity before, shows that people want to do this, shows that people care. The problem with charity is it's hard to know who to trust. People don't trust charities because everything the media writes is you can't trust this. They're just buying private planes or whatever. And if I think that we need a nudge to do something. Someone needs to push us to kind of get started. We need one incentive, and we need to trust whatever we're giving to, and we need to care. And I think that pretty much everyone cares, but what's lacking is the other two. It's the trust and the nudge. So if Great.com can nudge the industry, and if Great.com can show that we did the research, I've done a lot of research on charity. I know that this is the best organization that I can find, and I'm giving my money to prove it. It's easy for someone else to give their money. But if someone needs to do the research, come up with their own kind of nudge, or why am I doing this? What is this? And get it to happen, there are too many barriers to actually start giving away money. And I've already seen it happen in the gambling industry. People care, people have money, and people are smart. So I believe that we will make amazing things, and great will just be one part of that. I think the industry can do a lot more than great can do.
Yeah, again, that's encouraging to hear, and hopefully we'll see more developing sort of in the coming years. The final aspect from your report that I wanted to focus on was you focus heavily on social media. And another sort of quote that you use is, you don't know the full extent of how growing social media will benefit the business model, but you're convinced it will. Can you sort of explain your social media strategy, but also your thoughts on how it's used more generally in the industry, and perhaps in Sweden as well?
So that becomes two very different questions. I believe that, so if we take the extreme and we look at Tesla, I believe that Tesla could be an amazing SEO company. They could get links to anything. And a big reason for that is Elon Musk. That Elon Musk is a superstar and he's the face of Tesla. If I ask you about who's the face of Mercedes, you have no idea. The face of Ferrari, no idea. The face of any big car company, you have no idea. But with a superstar like Elon Musk, you can drive publicity in a way that few other car companies or any other company could do. And to create a character like that, you could either accomplish ridiculously magnificent things, which he has done, or you can be really good in social media, because there is a lot of superstars that got big that way as well. So my belief is that if I can add a lot of value to a lot of people through social media and have 600,000 followers, something like that right now, who daily consume things that I produce, and if they feel that I add value to their lives, they will one way or another want to add value back. And I haven't figured this out yet, but I'm guessing thousands of those have blogs, or they have websites one way or another, or they work in PR or media or whatever it is. And once I just figure out how could these people be excited about benefiting grades, I believe that there is an army of excited people out there that would want to do the same thing, and where they want interviews, they want publicity, they want these kinds of things. So I haven't cracked the code. How do I translate follower into publicity and links yet? But I feel confident that the more followers there are, the more people there is, the more times they have consumed the content, the more value they feel they've added to their lives, because I really pour my heart into adding value to their lives. And then that will one way or another figure it out. Looking at the other side, then what you can do with social media for a general casino business or affiliate business, I would say that it's ridiculously hard. I found it ridiculously hard to do it as a human being, just focusing on inspiring content and entertainment. To try and do social media with casino content and getting value from it that way, personally, I would say it's a waste of time and energy. It's much, much harder than I anticipated it to be. And we are not building any social presence for great.com as a brand, because it's been too hard. So I wouldn't even do social media if I were an online casino or an online sportsbook, if I didn't have a very clear idea of why I'm doing it, and I didn't have people who loved doing it. Because if you don't love it, you're screwed. I love doing the content that I'm doing for social media in an educational and inspirational way, but without that passion, it would be very, very hard to stay consistent.
That's an interesting distinction, and so essentially, I mean, for affiliates and casino, I mean, are you advising kind of the classic routes of go through more SEO rather than social media, if you think it's kind of, well, yeah, you said a waste of time there, really.
Yeah. I mean, if you love SEO, if you have a tweak to it, if you want to be a Twitcher or whatever, I mean, there are definitely angles to do it, but it's much, much harder than I thought it would be, and you will. Yeah, I think you'll need to come up with something unique, and I believe that it's much easier still to build a sustainable SEO-based business or an email marketing business than it is to try and figure out how to use TikTok for casino or how to use Twitter. I think that's really hard.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. We've talked about a lot so far. You've given plenty of insight, and I have one last question for you, but it's a broad one. So I want to know kind of what are your personal goals for the future. You've said Great.com is you've got a 50-year plan. Is it a lifelong project for you? Because obviously it sounds like you're putting a lot of time and effort into it at the moment. Or do you see yourself in the future starting another new venture? Because obviously that's what entrepreneurs often do.
No, for me, this is a lifelong mission. And I don't really have goals anymore. For me, my only goal is I want to go to bed each evening feeling that I'm a little bit smarter, a little bit healthier. I have a little bit more better relationships, and I've added a little bit more value to the world than I've done previous days. And if I do that every day for the rest of my life, then in 50 years, I will accomplish things that I can't even imagine right now. And I'd rather have that one day at the time kind of perspective on things and make sure that I prioritize the happiness and the joy doing that, and then see where it comes, than putting a goal at the horizon and then sacrifice things on the way there. Because that's how I've done things in the past. I created this goal for myself. I'm going to get there. And to get there, I needed to sacrifice my relationships. I needed to sacrifice my health. I needed to sacrifice my joy. And I don't think it's the best way of doing it.
Yeah, I think that's a really positive message. And may I add, I think especially during a pandemic when day to day, it can be tough, lockdowns and things like that. So certainly, yeah, I appreciate that kind of thinking.
Me too. I'm happy to hear that, Tim.
Well, yeah, Erik, thanks very much for joining us. It was great to speak with you, and yeah, good luck with your venture with Great.com.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching our interview with Erik Bergman. Be sure to come back for part 3 of our Sweden Focus series.